Glad to be here. Welcome. For those that are watching the replay, please feel free to, ask any questions you may have down below. I'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you. Tonight, we're going to talk about budgeting, which is really not a word that everyone loves. I know it's not my favorite word, but I'm going to change it to cash flow planning. That sounds more exciting and connected to what I'm trying to do. Build the cash flow, not only for myself, but for my children's children, which I don't have any grandchildren yet, but I am going to plan and prepare for them. And we're going to talk about setting goals. And so one of my goals is to one day travel, live 6 months here in Ohio and 6 months someplace warm. As you can see, this is a picture of myself in Hawaii. I'm telling you, I've never prior to that trip been to Hawaii, but I am so glad that I went. It was like looking at a postcard, like all day long. And I would just I was mesmerized by the beauty. And so what better way to spend my retirement days just looking at that type of scenery and just meditating and just at peace. And so that's one of my goals. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. For those, please feel free to share this video with 3 of your friends. We would love to have them. If you find this information beneficial, please do. So let's go ahead and get started. I have some slides for you today that I'll walk us through. So as I said, we're going to talk about budgeting. We're not going to do a physical budgeting, but if that's something that you are interested in, we can definitely turn this into an online class, because no matter whether you're, personal budgeting or business budgeting, finance budgeting, you need a written plan. And so if you want to, whatever your goals are, you want to have a written plan. And so let's get the next slide up. Hey, Raven. Thank you for joining. So the question always happens, who wants to be a millionaire? There's always people out there that want to be a millionaire, and that sounds catchy, and it is a catchy word. And you want to be in the money, you want money flowing. I tell you, I wanted to retire at age 30. I'm 57 now and I'm still working. But if I had started out with a written plan, setting goals with deadlines, I definitely would have achieved that goal. But back then I was young, I was making money, and I just wasn't interested. I didn't have any kids at the time. So I wasn't interested in, I said I wasn't going to leave anybody any money, but then when I turned 34 and had my first child, only have one, that's when my mindset changed to whereas like, there's no way that I can live from, back then I was a cosmetologist, so I was making cash on all of my customers. So, I had to change my mindset. So if you want to be a millionaire, if you want to be a baller, if you want to fly all over the world in jets and drive fancy cars, go on yachts, it can be done. If that's your goal in life, it can be done. So you want to create some written plans to get you there. So if you've been following me from the beginning, at the beginning of the year, we did a vision board. And on that vision board, I had where I am currently and where I'm trying to go, and the different stages to that point. I needed to create some assets that would get me there. And so you want to take the time out and write out a plan of action. How am I going to become a millionaire? How am I going to build my business? What investments do I need to create that type of money to afford me that lifestyle? Those are some of the questions that you should ask yourself. And let's get the next slide up here. So you want to set goals. And ask yourself, what do I want? What do I want in life? I mean, really ask yourself that. And then if you have time, write down 3 most important goals in your life right now. And write those 3 things down. And if you wouldn't mind sharing one of the goals in the comments. One of my goals, like I said, I want to be able to travel to tropical islands and just put my feet in the sand. And so what do I need? What type of income would I need? How much does that cost to live that type of lifestyle? For family, like income, how much do you want to earn? For family, what type of lifestyle do you want your family to live? Your health, of course, we want to be fit and healthy. We don't want to be traveling all over the world and not really be able to walk the islands and enjoy it. What is your health goals? What is your net worth? How much money do you want to save and accumulate? So if I live here 6 months and live on a tropical island for 6 months, how much money am I going to need to have accumulated to live that type of lifestyle? And so you need a financial plan in order to do that. So as you're setting goals, you want to write down what you want to do, how much it's going to cost for you to achieve that lifestyle. So you want to write it down. You want to write it down because if you don't write it down, then it doesn't exist. You want to set up measurable goals. So you want to have short-term goals and long-term goals. So what do you want to accomplish in the next 3 years? So you want to, have some small goals that you can achieve along the way to build confidence for that big dream. And don't be afraid to dream big. Don't let anyone, talk you out of your big dreams because you're the one that can make it happen. You take responsibility for your goals, you can make it happen. So don't let anyone talk you out of it. You want to put it to action. You want to follow up. You want to pull your goal sheet out and look at it from time to time. Make sure that you're on pace. You want to set deadlines. So let's just say you set a deadline and you don't reach it. What do? What you do is erase that deadline date and create a new one. There's nothing wrong in you missing the date. Because guess what? We're living our daily lives and life happens. Now, if you're lazy and not putting action to your plan, then I can see you being a little, disappointed in yourself or, giving yourself a hard time. But as long as you still have breath in your body, you can just get right back on course and accomplish those goals. I'm trying to get some of these wordings out the way. They're always in the way. Okay, so what we're going to do is sit down and we're going to make plans and be diligent because the plans of the diligent leads to plenty. So if you start pursuing your goals, you're going to have more than enough, over and above what you can think. So we're going to write down our budget, and then we're going to be diligent. Constantly check it, stay on pace, and accomplish our goals. The next slide, let's see what that looks like. Okay. Now, even though I'm created a list of budgets, this is just a snapshot. If you want to get more in depth and actually go through and put all your numbers in, I'll be more than happy to create an online class. Just let me know that that'd be something that you're interested in. And the first thing on the list is your charitable items, your gifts. So do you have a favorite, do you have a church that you give to, or a favorite charitable organization that you want to give to? And again, these numbers are just a guideline. It's not set in stone because some category may outweigh the other. And so, this is just a guideline. So 10% to charitable organizations, or 10% to yourself, your savings. If you put away 10% over the years, the second year, you're going to have a nice lump sum. So if you make $50,000 at the end of the year, you're going to have $5,000. That's enough to put down on your first investment property. You can buy some nice shares of stocks, find you some companies and buy some stocks, and then that will cause your money to multiply. Housing, that's your rent, that's your mortgage. Utilities, your light, your gas, your cable, your cell phone. Now, of course, some of these bills in this category, you can definitely call the company. Hey, I have my light bills. There a way that I can minimize this, lower this. Gas. Can I lower my gas bill? You can definitely call to see ways. How can I decrease the monthly fee that I pay on this? Your cell phone bill. At one point we had a house phone with just the dial tone, and then call waiting came and caller ID packages came. So just because new things are coming out, the newest phones, the newest this, the newest that, you don't have to take advantage of all of that, especially if you got some big goals that you're trying to achieve, then most definitely you want to slimline those areas. I know now with TV, back in my day, I remember black and white TV. Over the years, we got cable. Now we're paying monthly fees. We didn't pay a monthly fee. You just buy a TV and that was it. Now you buy your TV and then you got to pay a monthly fee. You buy your cell phone, you got to pay a monthly fee. Bills have changed over the years. But again, you do have some leeway. You can slimline, and you don't have to have the biggest, greatest package out there, especially if you're trying to build wealth. The food. Now, this area, now that I'm an empty nester and don't cook every day for my family, I have to work in that area. Transportation. I used to buy a new car every 3-4 years. Well, now car payments are like up there with mortgages, the cost of owning a home. So, now I don't buy new cars anymore. I buy used cars. And then we're paying for Ubers. And, it's just things are stacking upon each other to where our budget is just really out of control. Clothing. With COVID, I haven't been out shopping for clothes, although I did buy a couple of things. But for the most part, I have a 3-bedroom house. All 3 closets are filled with clothes that there's no way possible I could wear all those clothes. So I stopped buying a lot of clothes. But again, you decide. And even like my hair, going to get a perm. I love to wear my hair permed, but I didn't cut it I just did it while I was home and COVID. But there was a time when I started investing in real estate properties, I did go natural to slimline the cost that I was paying. Like if I go to get a perm, that's like $125 for a permanent cut, and then go back every 2-3 weeks. And sometimes I would just stretch it out between, I would just only go like maybe every 4 to 5 weeks because I wear my hair short. So you got to keep it. I'm a cosmetologist, so I believe in having your hair groomed. And so, I would go and, get my cut freshened. But again, that would be like $55. But when I wear my hair natural, I just go and get it cut. Cost me $11 to get my hair cut. So you see what I'm saying? There's ways that you can slimline your budget. Medical and health can be very expensive these days. But you can definitely, if you work a job and they provide packages, you could take your time to go through the packages to select the best one for you. Also, let me get rid of these. Okay, it was blocking my thing there. Personal, for personal items, just hair care, shampoos and conditioners, and deodorant. I mean, those things can get costly. If you go get your eyebrows done, especially women, it could be costly to keep those things up. Recreation, going to the movies, and so these are ways. And then debt, you want to have that at 10%. So we're going to talk a little bit about debt afterwards. And this is from the Dave Ramsey. I used to be a financial facilitator for Dave Ramsey at my church, my local church. And so I forgot to disclose at the beginning, I am not a financial planner, but I do have a degree in business. And while I was getting my business degree, I was taking finance classes. So I'm only like 2 classes away from getting an associate or a minor in finance. But what excited me is that it was during a time when I was, educating myself on how to build wealth. And so what excited me is that at the end I would be a broker and trainer and training, and that excited me. And so I just do the investing on the side. That's just something I just enjoy doing personally. It's not something I do for a living, but I definitely have helped numerous people with their budgeting and helping them to build wealth and identifying areas that could be addressed to, because I'm not just trying to build wealth for myself. Why not take the community with me? And so I share my experiences. So let's talk about passive income. Now, this is something Dave Ramsey's course teaches you to pay off your debt and be debt free. And I have lived that lifestyle. But you know what? You're never really debt free. I do have some property that I don't have a mortgage on, but I still have to pay taxes and insurance. If I don't pay taxes, I could still lose my home, even though it's paid for and I don't owe the bank anything for it. But if you don't pay your property taxes, you can still lose your property. So you're always going to have a debt on things. You're never going to be like no debt at all. But let's talk about increasing and creating passive income, cash flow. And so this is what I learned from the Rich Dad course when I took the real estate course. And also every Sunday we play the cash flow game. And so we all start on start. We're all working employees, and we all have bills. But in the game, which I've learned to play, is that even though I have some liabilities, some bills, some credit card debt, some loans, on the side, we create the passive income first. And once we create that passive income and it's coming in steady and strong, and then you're accumulating your passive income monthly cash flow. So say if got 20,000 sitting in the bank, which I would never just have 20,000 sitting in the bank without something. I immediately transfer my money. If I get large sums of money, I always immediately put it into an investment. I've built up that habit over the years. So, and say my debt is 15,000, I have, constantly still getting my paycheck plus the monthly cash flow from rental income, from dividends from my stocks, money from my online classes, my, I have created something. I created like a head wrap, but I could get it patent and then sell it to a company and make money from that. Intellectual property, I have an ebook, and I don't have it in front of me, but I also have a book that I sell online. So these are ways that I make money in my sleep. I don't have to be hands-on. I've set it up in a way that it generates money on its own. And so you want to create business systems that you don't have to be there, show up to work, clock in 9 to 5 every day. Gold and silver, and royalties. If you're a songwriter, you can sell your song to artists. You can, now they have NFTs that, songwriters are auctioning off their music and art. I mean, the sky's the limit on making that $1 million. So it's easier than we think. It's not hard to make $1 million. So I just wanted to share with you the financial income statement that we use from the cash flow game, and you can use this in real life. You can put your totals in there. You got your income, you got your expenses, and then you have your assets and liabilities. And so and passive income is at the right hand corner of the sheet, but you want to generate enough passive income to where you can pay off. You don't necessarily have to pay off your mortgage, but if you had enough cash on hand to do that, you could. But you could pay off your credit cards, your personal loans, that sort of thing under the liability. So if you got enough passive income built up, you built up your asset sheet. So even though you're working a job, you living from paycheck to paycheck, you set up your budget, you're paying yourself first, you're giving to charities, you're paying your bills on time, but then you're taking your extra and building up your asset column. You're buying real estate, you're buying stocks, you're buying things that will give you the cash flow that you need to make that $1 million. And then when you get a lump sum built up after that, then you can pay off your liabilities, because it's all about a numbers game. And so sometimes you do have to pay down and eliminate your debt. But at least you have your assets doing that versus trying to do it from your paycheck. And then if you do have debt, if you don't have enough money to pay it off, all at one time, that's all right. You can do from smallest to largest. List your bills. So you have your highest to your lowest, and then flip the list around and start with your lowest bill first. Pay that off. So pay them all monthly. You're paying everybody on time, but then you're slowly snowballing the list down to where you don't have that list. That's one way of doing it. So there's multiple ways of doing it, but there's a way to still achieve your goals at the same time. You just need investment strategies. You need money management. That's what this is. It's money management, managing the money that you do get. And you can turn that money into assets and multiply it, but you do have to find know how to go out and buy good stocks and buy real estate that, do the numbers like we're doing the book club. We offer a lot of free things. We have the book club, which we're learning how to buy multiple dwellings. We have the cash flow game every Sunday. That's free. Come on out and learn some strategies. You have to invest the time in the things that you need to know in order to build that $1 million lifestyle. And I wanted to share this video with you.
When I'm die, when my kids die, when they kids die, we still gonna have the same amount. And I thought about that. Then I said, okay, how you do it? And he pulled out a piece of paper. After he said, it ain't about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. How many times we seen cats, we get the bag with 100 and then they go blow it the same day, now they gotta get another 100. So he said, if you got $100, you save that. That's 50. He said, rich people will say, okay, I'm saving 50 and I'm doing that. But he said, the wealthy does this. You save that. This, ball out. House, chain, car, whatever you want. But
75.
Save it, yeah. He told me, he said, you're rich, but I'm wealthy. Because I didn't know the difference. And I said, what's the difference? He said, well, wealthy is when I'm die, when my kids die, when they kids die, we still gonna have the same amount. And I thought about that. Then I said, okay, how you do it? And he pulled out a piece of paper. After he said, it ain't about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. How many times we seen cats, we get the bag with 100 and then they go blow it the same day, now they gotta get another 100. So he said, if you got $100, you save that. That's 50. He said, rich people will say, okay, I'm saving 50 and I'm doing that. But he said, the wealthy does this. You save that. This, ball out. House, chain, car, whatever you want. But
75.
Save it, yeah. He told me, he said, you're
Isn't
rich,
that awesome?
but I'm wealthy.
I'm telling you, that is so awesome. And, I'm big on legacy. So he said that a wealthy person and I was just reading an article on the Rockefellers, and he died over 100 years ago. And the family, just like over 100 family members to this day that is still living off of that wealth. And so that's a prime example where, the money that you're making, that is not just for you, it's for somebody else. And so my daughter, I will pass it down to her. I'm the 4th generation of property ownership. My grandfather him and his father purchased over 100 acres of land. And when he died, there was 54 acres that belonged to him. The other portion belonged to my great-grandfather. But that land was transferred down to my dad. And then my dad passed it down to me. And now it's still in the family. We still own the land. And then I could pass it down to my daughter. And then if she keeps the legacy going, it'll be passed down to her children. But he said, when I die, my daughter dies, her children die, and the next generation, the wealth is still the same amount. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? There are still people today that will pass down the wealth. You got the Fords, the Rockefellers, you got the Waltons that own Walmart. There's families that have passed down the legacy. And so you too can pass down that $1 million. So just think 4 generations from now, you make that $1 million and you secure it in assets. And from what I'm understanding is that's the next phase, to put it into a trust. and it will continue for each generation thereafter. That 4 generations in, there'll be the 4th generation of millionaires. That is so awesome. And so thank you for joining me, those that are watching the replay. For everyone that is watching, I just hope that this has been beneficial to you. It's just been great to come on here and share that information. I'm just getting so excited. You know, the more I prepare for you guys, I'm just getting so blessed with abundance of strategies and opportunities. I'm telling you, so for me, I'm enjoying my life. I'm living my best life, and I'm glad that I can pass some of it down to not only my family, but to you guys that are part of my overflow. And so, see you next Saturday at 8 p.m. Bye for now.